Alright my friends, so in the last video we have discussed about the linear layout, and also we have learned about why we are going to use such a layout and all sorts of stuff. Now in a summary, essentially we are using layouts just to not put all these views randomly inside our screen. So that's why Android Studio provides us with some containers that we can use in order for us to put our views in very organized way. Now, and as you can see, Android Studio divided the layout into linear layout, which has the vertical and the horizontal one, which we have explained previously. So essentially we are putting all the views either vertically or horizontally. Now another way that we can use or put the views inside our screen more dynamically, let's say, using the relative layout. Now the linear layout has its own way or its own rules that we need to follow. And by this I mean, here for example, when you are adding new views, for example a button or a text view or an image or so on, the linear layout, it is gonna decide where it is gonna position or add this element. For example, if I add a button, it will add it to the end. Okay, I cannot position it wherever I want. Of course I can drag it and drop it to make it just to put it before or after these buttons. Of course the order here is matter, but this is not really dynamic. So that's why we have another solution that we have comes with, or Android Studio provide, which is the relative layout. Now by now you should have the ability to change the type of the layout. Essentially you go to the text tab here on the bottom, click on it, select the linear layout tag here. I'm gonna type capital R E and you will see the relative layout comes here. I'm gonna use the autocomplete from Android Studio. Click on it and it is gonna select it. Going back to the design tab, now as you can see all the buttons are gone. Now they are not gone, but as I said, Android Studio give us the decision to put all these buttons wherever we want. And to do so, we have to make two main changes. The first one is to give each button right here or each view in the component tree. You will have several views right here. I want you to give each one a unique identifier. And to do so, you need to select the view from here from the component tree, select it, and here on the attributes window, click on the search and search for the ID. Usually you will see it the first thing right here, ID. And I want you to give it a unique identifier. Okay, something unique. For example, I'm just going to call it sign up underscore BTN. Stands for sign up button. Make sense? Like so. So this button right here now, it has its own unique identifier. Now this will help us to position the element or the view wherever we want. And to do so, the relative layout provide us with some properties or some attributes that we can use. And here on the, while I am selecting the button right here or the view, I can go here and search for layout. Okay, so when you search for the layout like so, I'm gonna give it some room right here so we can read. So I'm gonna just decrease this stuff. So as you can see, when I have searched for layout in my attribute window, I can see here it says, here we have some properties that says layout align parent bottom. We have some check boxes that we can play with, and here it says layout align parent bottom. Essentially I can align this button right here to the bottom of its parent, and its parent, it is the relevant layout, and the relevant layout essentially it is the whole screen right now. Okay, so if I check this one right here, the button will go all the way to the bottom because I have checked the align parent bottom. Okay, I'm gonna revert it, or let's keep it now. Here we have align parent and align parent left, and here align parent right, and start. Now I'm gonna check the right. It will move right here. So as you can see, I have more than let's say play around with the position that you want inside your screen. Now also, as you can see, these 4 or 5 or 6 properties give us to position them either on the top, on the bottom, on the left, or on the right. But also, if you take a look here on the bottom, it says layout center horizontal. If we check it, it will center it horizontally. Okay, but of course I cannot center it horizontally and give it to the right. I need to decide between both of these, so I'm gonna uncheck my right. So now the center horizontal is checked, but not the right. And also we can center it vertically right here. Okay, and this is not gonna work because I have added to the bottom, so I have to decide between the bottom or the center. I'm gonna uncheck my bottom, so it will be here on the center. Now no matter what is the device that going to run your application, as long as you have checked these boxes, then it will be always in the center. And of course we have shortcut here. Instead of checking the vertical and the horizontal, we can essentially check the check imparent, I mean center imparent, and we also going to take a look on this, of course. Okay, so this is really how you can center or play around with all these positions like so. So as you can see, Android Studio provide us with some properties that we can work with. However, this will work for all the views. For example, here another button. I am just gonna once again search for the ID to give it a unique identifier, and I'm just gonna call it login underscore btn like so. And here once again I need to just to style it a bit, so I'm gonna search for the color. The text color will be let's go with orange like so. So let me spell it correctly. We have the orange for the text color. I'm gonna change the background color or background like so. I'm gonna make it blue. Okay, and also I'm gonna change the text property, the text on the button, to say something like login. Make sense? And now I can position it wherever I want. But the thing here is the relative layout, it's not about positioning the element in the center or on the top or on the left or on the right and so on. It has more dynamic stuff, and I will show you now. So here, if I want the login button to sit on top of the sign up button, okay, so what I can do, I can search for above like so. So if I search for above like so, I will get layout underscore above. Now this here, it is gonna allow me to provide an element right here, and this element that is selected will be added to the top of the element that I'm gonna specify here. And if I click on the drop down, I will see all the identifiers that I have. In this case, I want to add it to the top of the sign up button, so that's why I'm gonna select it. And once I do so, it is now on top of the sign up button. And now what I can do, I can go back and search for center to center it here horizontally, so I have it now on the center. Now the only problem that I can see, they are too close together. Now what I can do, I can add a space between them using margin. Margin, it is the outside space between the views. So I'm gonna select my login button like so. I'm gonna search for margin, and here I'm gonna expand this thing, layout margin. It allow me to add margin from all the sides, from the start, from the top, from the bottom, and so on. So I am interested in the bottom, so I'm gonna click on the bottom here, and I can provide, let's say, 30 dB. Okay, that will push the button a bit, and it will add some space between it. So once again, the relative layout has a lot of powerful properties that we can get benefit from, and one of them, as I said, was the layout above. Okay, so you select the button or the view that you want to add, and I want you to search for example to let's say to the right. Okay, if we search for example to the right, you will see that we can align the selected view. In this case, my sign up button, I can add it to the right of anything. Okay, the only thing that I need to specify is here to give it the view that I want from this drop down, which you can get by clicking on this arrow like so. So we have to the right, we have to the left, and we have above, as I show you, and we have to below like so. Oops, let me spell it correctly. Like so. We have the below also. If you want any element to sit below another element, then you can specify it right here. The only thing that you can do or you need to make sure that you have did, it's first to give all the views here unique identifiers, then select them, search for the property that you want, whether it is about layout. As I said, you can see all the line parent bottom on and so on, or you can center it, or you can position it specifically depending on other elements by either above or below or to the right or to the left. So these are really the main properties that we can use with the relative layout. Make sure that you have understand this lesson very well. It's really about the positioning the views inside our screen, but later on, do not worry, we are gonna design real world advanced layouts. So hopefully that makes sense. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next one.